Okay, here I am, just turned up to fish, and I've got some friends. If I after chickens, I think I'll be in for quite a day, wouldn't I? Hey girls. Right, looks pretty good day to me. It's quite cold, it's about 4 degrees, but no wind, or very little wind, and overcast, which I think usually is better than full-on sunshine. So see how it goes. Now these are what I call inquisitive chickens. You can get out of the car, darling. Come on, you daft little thing. Okay, so today I intend trying out a new line that I bought, which is LiQWYD sink tip. So that will take me down about 5 foot under the water. I'll have a team of 3 flies fished on that, and on my other rod I'm going to have my floating set up, which is my preferred setup for catching trout. But yeah, they may be down a little bit deeper today. It is cold, but every time I've said that when I fished here, when it's been cold, I've said, oh, they'll be down a bit deeper. They've all been within a foot or 2 of the surface, so who knows. I'm never quite sure now, but it's nice to try a new line. It's an 8-weight. My rod is a Grays GR60 8-weight. I've got 2 rods, both GR60s, both 10 foot. One a 7-weight and one an 8-weight. These are really nice rods, actually. I was recommended by the local tackle shop owner to invest in these. I think they're about £160 each, and they're lovely. They're fantastic. They're light. They've got power. I dug out one of my old trout rods a couple of weeks ago, and that's, just trying to think what it was. It was a Daiwa, I believe, 10 foot, 8-weight, and perfectly good rod. I think the thing I noticed the most was just how much heavier it was. So after you've been casting for a little while, it really does put a strain on your arm and your wrist, whereas this cast all day and hardly know it. Okay, so the setup here is as follows. Those are the rates. All day catch and release, 22 quid. I intend taking some fish today, so 3 fish, and I'll fish for about 6 hours, so that'll be £22, plus I've got the boat, which for the rowboat is £5, which I think is fantastic. Now the wind today is coming straight down the lake this way. Every other time I've fished here, it's always come from this direction. It's quite a cold wind, actually. I don't know what direction that is. Possibly slightly northerly, I don't know. But I'm going to take out the rowboat. Got all my stuff in there. The 2 setups that I've got my normal floating setup. I put a damsel on the point just to take it down, and then somewhere here I've got naps floating about there, and I've got a shrimp at the top. I always like shrimps. And then on my sink tip setup, I've got a shrimp at the top dropper. I've then got a black buzzer and a black pennel. Someone very kindly told me what that was on my last video. I wasn't sure what it was, but it's a black pennel. So I'm gonna head on out, anchor up, and see what happens. Okay, we're going to try first cast with this new line. First cast today. Just going to aim close to that aeration pump. First impressions, that went well. Very easy, very smooth. Got a bit of weight to it. So on this one, like I said, I got black pennel on the point. There's a lot of memory in this line, but it's been on a reel for 8 weeks, 9 weeks. I haven't used it yet. This will be the first trip out, so I'm sure it'll take a little while just to sort itself out. Like I said, personally, I don't mind a little bit of memory on a line because it is just the best bite indicator you can get. I suppose you don't want too much because then you're not in touch with the fish and it takes, but anyone who used to watch the Fast Show, there's a character on there called Bob Fleming. He was forever clearing his throat. Well, just think of me as Bob Fleming. It's not COVID. It's about 18 or fish rows there. Very close to my oh yeah, I was going to say, rows right next to my, oh, he's off. Still, that's a good sign. Going back to what I was saying, Bob Fleming. If you haven't watched the Fast Show, go and watch it. I think it's on Gold. Absolutely fantastic. It's a 90s show. Paul Whitehurst. And like I say, he had a fishing character in the show called Bob Fleming, who was forever coughing, trying to give interviews and whatever, and as the interview went on, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It was quite amusing. But I have that same affliction. I have to clear my throat every 5 minutes. I have done since I was about 16. I had pneumonia, and other than the need to clear my throat every now and again, it's never done me any harm. Wind's dropped a little bit. When I first got here, it was absolutely flat calm. I got tackled up, came out on the boat, and at first, as I anchored, it was quite windy. Now it's dropped a bit. Because, like I say, there's quite a nip in the wind. Okay, you can call me a fair weather fisherman, but I've moved from down there to up here because with these trees up here, there's no wind. Whether that suits the fish or not, I'm not entirely worried. It certainly suits me. When I put the anchor down, it's around about 15 feet here. So I think when I've been saying it's 10 feet, I think I'll measure that rope properly later. But I think it's sort of nearer 12, maybe, well up here I think it is nearer 15 feet. Oh, just missed one. That's annoying. Annoying and also encouraging. Line just started to straighten right out. I just was in the process of switching the camera back on. I wasn't really looking at what I was meant to be looking at, so that's my fault. But again, the line had only just touched the water, so maybe they are reasonably up in the column. Again, as often seems to be the way at this lake. Just turned the camera on because I just hooked another fish. That's another one off. There's 2 off now. Oh well. I've got a lot of different shrimp patterns in here, and I'm going to try something quite bright. I might go white. The orange has done very well on what have you. I had some yellow ones. I think it's in one of my other boxes. The yellow did extraordinarily well here, but I think I'm gonna pop that little thing on point now, or I might even go with a white one. But we'll bring this in and we'll have a little change. Right. So just so you can see what I'm fishing. Got shrimp, as my top dropper. Got my apps. Hope you can see that. And at the moment, I've got a little damsel on there, but I'm going to flip that off. Okay, so I've got a white shrimp on the point now. It's beaded, so it's going to sink. I've still kept my apps on for the moment. Whoops, in a bit of a tangle. That's why I'm doing 16 false casts. Right. Let's see that do the business. First cast, come on. Oh, the wind's dropped. It's lovely. When the wind drops, it really is like, oh, so much nicer. Haven't had the aeroplanes today. Don't know if they're having a no-fly day or whatever, or if they're going to fly later. But you've got F-15s based over at Lakenheath, which isn't very far away. Yep, brilliant. Right, there we go. Yay! Now let's see if we can keep him on. Be interesting to see what he's taken. I think he has taken on. Yeah, the white beaded head shrimp. So sometimes it does pay to change your setup. It really does. I'll be keeping this one. It's not a big one, but I will hang on to him. We've really got into the trout eating at home. What I found I really am enjoying doing, I'm filleting them now, not cooking them whole, and filleting them. Need a really nice sharp fillet knife, but in doing that I can get every single bone out. You can eat it not thinking I'm going to have a mouthful of bones here. And what I'm actually doing is coating the fillets in breadcrumbs. There we go, only a little fish, but nice first fish. Actually decided I'm not going to keep this one. It is so small. It's barbless hook, came out very easily. I'm just letting him recover in the net. Just check he's okay. And if he's okay, which he appears to be, I'm going to let him back. I might regret it because I might not have any tea, but it is literally just over £1. I prefer something a little bit bigger. Okay, well whatever, we're off the mark. I've caught a fish, even if I do go home empty-handed. It's not been a complete waste of my day. When I say waste of my day, it wouldn't be a waste of my day if I caught nothing, but that's good. I'm happy with that. So I'll just show you what I caught him on. Little shrimp pattern, and that was the first cast with that. So gold-headed, sinks quite quickly, and I've got my apps following that, and then I've got a more of a natural shrimp pattern up the top. See if we can get 2 for 2 now. That's how it often happens. You catch nothing for quite a while, and then very often you catch 2 in 2 casts. Let's see if we can have that happen now. Might be white is the colour. I think that's probably the smallest trout I've caught here. That was just over the £1, I would say. And I mean literally just over the £1. Really, to get some nice fillets off, I would say £1.5 to £2.5, perfect. Having said that, when I fillet it, because I want the bones out, I do actually, there's a central group of bones that run right down the middle of the fillet, and I suppose you could get a pair of pliers and individually pull every single bone out, but I just do not have the patience for that. So I do effectively cut the fillet in half along its length and then trim off a fair chunk of meat actually. So I do lose a bit, but I get rid of every bone. And when I eat trout, or any fish, I don't like it. As soon as I find a bone in it, it's like, I'm not into this. So if it means that I lose some of the meat, I'm not really that worried. What I might do eventually is go to a washing line on my floating setup, and then on my sink tip have a beaded point fly, because I'll be able to do pretty much everything I'm doing with this. I'll be able to do that, and then this I could fish up top. Oh yep. Oh, that's funny. It took. Oh my good grief! It's coming at me too quick. I can't keep up. Can't keep up. Oh good grief! It took. I swear it. Then dropped it. But then it took again. That's a better fish. This one I will keep. That is a better fish. Not huge, but a good £1.5 I would have said. That's on the apps, I think. Yeah, that's on the apps. Alright, well, things are picking up, definitely. So what we got there? Sort of £1.5. I said that trout, when it took, it was like it took, and then it didn't, it was off, then it took again. What it had actually done, it took my point fly. It is dead now. I have done the business with the priest, so it's not suffering now, before anyone says anything. It engulfed the point fly and then came and took the apps. Good grief, I've never had that before. Okay, fine. Right, I've got a very lively trout that has jumped clean out the water 3 times in a row in about 15 seconds. I managed to pop a fly right on his head, but doesn't seem to have caught his attention this time. Do love it when the sun comes out. She's not doing that quite enough today. Well, there's a fish that constantly has been rising, so I'm going to pop that on. Create a washing line. See if I can tempt him with this, because it's come up in the same place quite a few times now. Last week Daddy Longlegs was doing the business. Just fancy trying this particular fly. It's a new one to my collection, and as well as looking pretty in the box, I want to see if the fish like them. Oopsie daisy. Just wet that. Trim that off. I'm not going to put any gink on it because this has a little foam head in any case, and I don't mind if it's sitting just under the surface anyway. That's where it seemed to do the most damage last week. Right, okay, so now we've got a washing line set up, that on point, apps next, buzzer last. Let's see what we can see with that. go. It'll be interesting to see if that has taken on that point fly. I think it has, which should make me feel quite pleased about changing over. Yeah, it's definitely on the point. I saw the apps and I know the buzzer is above that, so yeah, I see the buzzer as well. Again, not the slab I'm after, another, I think, relatively small stockfish, but having had nothing for a little while, it's nice to catch something. Ooh, whoa. Even these two lumping great bottles of concrete are not keeping me totally still. This fish is actually moving. Again, it's not a very big fish. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's actually quite a small fish. He looks about pound and 4, something like that. Still not going to complain. Oh, for such a small fish, he's certainly putting up an account for himself. Yeah, it was on that black flight.